Good morning. Been a long time, a very long time. But I decided to get up very early this morning, more on a whim. All of the weather information told me pretty much not to come out this morning, but it's been such a long time, I've kind of missed doing this. I have missed doing this. But today I'm in the Costa Brava, very blurry-eyed. And I'm going to walk up the coast, and I've got a two-shot idea, two locations that I'm planning on going to. The first one is a little town called Balamori, and what I'm wanting to get there is first light. And then I'm going to walk a little bit further up the coast to a place called Castells. Once I get to Castells, that's where I'm hoping to get the sort of second phase where it starts to get into golden hour. It's a beautiful beach. Hopefully not too many people have been there already by that point. And I'm wanting to get the curve of the sand going towards this little pink house on the beach. Absolutely stunning. It is, it's absolutely incredible. But yeah, so in the Costa Brava, I'm gonna go and get these two shots, and it's very, very early. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it's gonna be totally worth it. So yeah, stay tuned.
When does this happen in the movie? Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens.
So I'm almost at my first location now. It's still very, very dark. But last time I was here, I got destroyed by mosquitoes. So I think my first point of call is to make sure that I am totally covered in mosquito repellent. So I'm going to place the camera down, and then I'm going to get my mosquito repellent out and get spraying. Done. Always remember to spray your t-shirt too. Right, now to get this picture. So the image I'm going for is an image I've shot many times. Many times. But I've never done it on a vlog. And this is the reason why. I've walked past it. This is the reason why I'm wanting to get this image. Just so I can talk you through why I love this shot so much, and I've taken it so many times. So I just got to climb down these rocks a little bit. There we go. And then what I've got this beautiful little bay. I'm not sure if you can see it. Beautiful little bay, little headland going out. And there's just the smallest amount of clouds in the sky. Don't get me wrong, it's not super dramatic, it's a little bit more postcard worthy. And that isn't what I normally go for. But you can't complain, It is still beautiful. And it's going to be lit by the moon that's out, still present from the full moon and the eclipse that was on the 28th or the 29th. But yeah, so I'm going to get my camera all set up now, and then I'll talk you through what I'm doing. So I've got my first shot all worked out now. I'll put it into live view so I can talk you through it. So what I've got is I've got a little line of rocks coming round, and it leads you to the headland just over here. Then I've got the buildings that's coming across here, and I've got this lovely diagonal line pointing out towards this headland as well. So the arrow and your eye should be brought across here, and just up here in the sky, this is where the only clouds in the entire sky are. So fingers crossed, this is where the colour comes. I've done a few different exposures to try and work out where I want it to be, and I found that on f8 it gave me nice and crisp in the foreground, midground. I'm not too worried about the headland in the back, 'cause it's going to be more like a silhouette. But it gives me a nice crisp building, nice flat water. It's a long exposure, so I've got some really nice reflections in the water as well. Now I'm just waiting for the sun to come up a little bit higher in the sky, just to light these clouds above, and then I should have something really special, something absolutely stunning to share with you guys. But I'm going to show you my base exposure now. But I've got on f8, I've got it on ISO 64, trying to keep it as sharp and not as grainy as possible, and 15-second exposure. So quite a long exposure, and that will be dialed back once the colour in the sky comes back, but I'll talk about that once it happens. What a morning to be alive. Stunning, absolutely beautiful. So I finished that little base, I finished my exposures for the shot. What I've done is I've composed for the darkness, for the drama in the buildings, for the deep shadows and then not so bright highlights, but you know, really nice and contrasty. And then I've just done my other exposure for the sky, and you've just watched the sky change colour. Pretty beautiful, eh? But this is where I'm going to take a little bit of a mission now, to get to my second exposure before it lights up behind me. So it might take me a couple of minutes to get there, and the mosquitoes are out. They are out in force. The settings I went for the sky is I had it on a 6-second exposure, f8, and you know, ISO 64, which worked out beautifully. So I'm going to edit them together, and yeah, I suppose you'll see before I know how it turned out. So unfortunately, the Mediterranean being the Mediterranean, we don't get a lot of tides here. I was hoping the tractor might have been down yesterday and raked it, but again, kind of let down by the tractor. But the beach is still pretty empty. There's a couple of campers, which is okay, but I'm just going to try and line up this composition. So as you can see the sea is lapping, as you can see behind me, sorry, the sea is lapping up the beach, and I'm getting these nice little pretty patterns as it floats away, and this is pretty much what I've came here for today. So I'm just getting a nice, so if you look at the little pink house behind me, I'm trying to get a nice little curvature of the water leading around to that pink house, and the clouds in the sky above, they're already burnt out, which is a shame. I missed them. But this is going to be a beautiful little point where you can catch that first light just hitting the top of them buildings and top of them walls, and hopefully it'll create some really pretty contrast, a really stunning contrast. So I'm just going to walk on a little bit further until I think I've got this shot. So for the eagle-eyed viewers that were watching before, I didn't use any filters, anything like that. On the last shot. On this shot, however, because the sun is behind me and not in front of me, I'm going to use a polarizer to take the glare off the sand to give it that nice rich colour, and to hopefully take the glare off the water to give it that nice rich colour. Because for those of you that have travelled to the Med, it is a really beautiful turquoise teal colour that you just don't get in the UK. The water, that is. And the rocks behind, I really want to get some nice definition in them. So I'm going to get my polarizer out now. I'm going to attach that onto the front of my lens. Before doing that though, it's always best to get your little squeezer out, your little air blower, pocket rocket, and give it another little blast. Make sure you've got no dust on there. So that glow is actually starting to arrive now, so I'm going to have to be really quick about this. I'm going to turn live view on, and I'm going to manually focus on my focal point, which, believe it or not, is the pink house. There's not really much interest in the sky, so what I've done is I've actually lowered my camera down so that I'm getting more of the water. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to wait until there's a nice big surge of water that comes flying up the beach. As soon as I get that large surge, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get an image of it as it travels back down. So I'm actually going to have to close my aperture. So I want this on around about a 2-second timer. Unfortunately, I should have probably just got the shot earlier on. So I'm just starting to get that first bit of glow. And I think the shot's going to turn out quite nice. It hasn't really gone alpine-y because of the headland on the other side. So what's happened is the sun's rose too high in the sky to have that initial first red glow. But I still think it's going to cause a nice amount of contrast. But it's just starting to come into shot now. I've changed my aperture. I've changed my settings to f8, ISO 64, 15th of a second. That's what I'm trying to get to. And it's looking pretty good. It's looking nice and crisp. I'm just getting the first light just on the rocks going out into the water. And I think my final shot is going to be when the first light hits the top of the house. But yeah, so I'm just going to wait until this light drops down, and then I'm going to get that image, and hopefully it's going to be something really spectacular. So I've got all my compositions now. I've taken my shots for the morning. I think I'm going to head back and do some editing now, and hopefully put this vlog together pretty quick. So I'm trying to use some new software called DaVinci Resolve. It's taken me a bit of time to get my head around it, but I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. I'm not sure if I'm going to be taking many more while here, but I am planning on moving from here over to Scotland, and then there's going to be thousands of vlogs. Trust. There's going to be so many vlogs. But thank you for watching, and yeah, see you next time.